السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وعظيمنا وقاعدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله من بعثه الله رحمة للعالمين هاديا ومبشرا ونذيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الأبرار وصفوة الأصحاب. أما بعد، عباد الله، فإني أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل القائل في محكم كتابه: أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. قال أيضا: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. صدق الله العظيم. Brothers and sisters, our sermon today, inshallah, is about maintaining relationship in Islam. Brotherhood. Maintaining relationship in Islam is a very comprehensive concept that is based upon good character with others, treating one another, treating other human beings the way we want them to treat us, with respect, with dignity, mercy and equality, and uniting upon our common values as human beings. Maintaining good relationship in Islam, or ties, comes in 3 layers, as mentioned in the Quran. We can consider these 3 layers as 3 concentric circles, a smaller circle inside, followed by a medium circle, and followed by a bigger circle on the outside. And we can call them, the first one, the family circle, or the circle of kinship. The second one is the faith circle, which is the circle of brotherhood in Islam, or the circle of the Ummah. And the outer circle, which is the bigger circle, which unites all of us, is the humanity circle. And inshallah, we're going to go through all of these. Now the ayah in which Allah made this very clear to us is in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 36, where Allah says, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا. And worship Allah alone, and do not associate Him with any partners, and do good unto your parents, and near of kin, and unto orphans, and the needy, and the neighbor from among your own people, and the neighbor who is a stranger, and the friend by your side, and the wayfarer, and those whom you rightfully possess. Verily, Allah does not love the arrogant and the boastful. Now, each of these circles has a set of rights and duties enjoined upon us as Muslims to uphold with others that are not Muslims. Now, I'm going to start with the inner circle. Now, this is the family circle, or the circle of kinship, and I call that as the nucleus of the Islamic Ummah. And it was also the circle that ties, or that unites all the outer circles. It upholds all the outer circles, the circle of the Ummah and the circle of humanity. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam is reported to have said that the person who perfectly maintains the ties of kinship, that is the relationship between himself and his relatives, is not the one who does it because he gets recompensed by his relatives. So if you're doing that, or if you're maintaining the relationship between yourself and your relatives because you are trying to please your uncle who's very rich, you're trying to be on his good side, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said you're not doing it for the right reasons. But the one who truly maintains the bonds of kinship is the one who persists in doing so, even though his relative has severed the ties of kinship with him. So you have to persist and persevere and try to maintain that relationship with your relative, even if they have shunned you, even if they declare that they actually don't want to have anything to do with you. In another hadith, Jubair bin Mut'am, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the one who severs the ties of kinship will not enter Jannah. Aisha radiallahu anha also reported that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna min akmal al-mu'minin imanan wa ahsanuhum khuluqan wa altafuhum bi ahlihi." Verily, the most complete of believers in faith are those with the best character and who are most kind to their families. And so many other hadiths in Surah Al-Muhammad and ayah 22 to 23, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Would you then, if you were given the authority, do mischief in the land and sever your ties of kinship? Such are those whom Allah has cursed, so that He has made them deaf and blinded their sight." So this goes to underpin the importance of maintaining that relationship, because that's the relationship that makes sure that the outer relationships are solid. Because if the relationship that you have with your immediate family and your relatives is weak, that would affect the outer circle, which would in turn affect the bigger circle. Now this goes to complement the abundance of ayat and hadith in establishing the significance of maintaining this relationship. Each one of us, if each one of us starts breaking ties with members of their family, how are we going to have a united ummah? We all know that charity begins at home, and a person's responsibility is to maintain ties and see to the needs of their family. The Prophet ﷺ says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not descend upon a nation in which people violate the rules of kinship. As I keep explaining, if the inner circle is porous, if it sort of leaks and it's not strong enough, the outer circles would not be strong. So if this hadith says that Allah does not depend upon a nation, it means that the cause, one of the reasons why Allah would not bless a nation or an ummah is where we have a very, very weak relationship, weak kinship in the ummah amongst families. And that goes to explain the importance of that. The second circle is the circle of faith. That is the middle circle. Now, maintaining good relationship and sense of community, friendship, and common purpose in Islam for the sake of Allah is very, very important. At this level, the believers work together, put aside all their differences in wealth, in skin color, in race, in age, and they do this towards the fulfilling of the goals of their faith and living out its divine values. This is mentioned in Surah Al-Imran, as I recited at the beginning of the khutbah. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. Hold firm the rope of Allah, and together, hold firm the rope of Allah all together, and do not become divided. Remember the favor of Allah upon you when you were enemies, and He brought your hearts together, and you became brothers by His favor. Another ayah, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخْوَيْكُمْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. The believers are but brothers, so make reconciliation between your brothers and fear Allah so that He may have mercy on you. Brothers and sisters, we are entitled to the rights that are specific to our community in Islam, including the right to be treated with proper manners and etiquette, to be prayed for, to be greeted with peace, to be visited when we are sick, and to enjoy friendship and companionship of one another. Among the rights of a Muslim over another Muslim are that he covers his fault, he forgives his mistakes, he pardons him over his errors, he overlooks his shortcomings, he rejects backbiting, always admonishes him, gives him advice, preserves his good traits, his good habits, guards his covenants or his secrets, answers his invitations, accepts his guidance, shows gratitude for his favors, assists him in the best manner. And these are all very, very good ways of keeping the ties amongst Muslim brothers. We need to give excuses and the benefit of the doubt, which is what we call al-husn al-dhann, to one another, to brothers and sisters. When somebody appears to have done something that, in your opinion, isn't acceptable, give him the benefit of the doubt. Don't jump into conclusion. Don't go ahead and judge him and give the worst interpretation to his action. Try and find a good interpretation for what he's done. As Abu Hurairah reported, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cited to have said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنَّ فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيثِ وَلَا تَحَسَّسُوا وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا تَنَافَسُوا وَلَا تَحَاسَدُوا فَلَا تَبَاغَضُوا وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. Beware of suspicion, suspecting one another. For suspicion is the most false of speech. Do not seek out faults. Do not spy on one another. Do not contend with one another. Do not envy one another. Do not hate one another. And do not turn away from one another. Rather be servants of Allah as brothers. Another ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said the parable of believers in their affection and compassion for each other are that it's like that of a body, that of a human body. When any limb aches, the whole body reacts with sleeplessness, with fever, and so on and so forth. This hadith is muttafaqun alayh. So this goes to underpin the importance of the middle circle. This is, again, as mentioned before, dependent on the inner circle. So if the circle of the relationship with your kinsman is not good enough, it's going to affect this middle circle. The third circle, which is equally important, is the circle of humanity. Islam has enjoined us to embrace this circle. Allah explicitly states that the existence of people from different backgrounds and opinions is something that we have to acknowledge as Muslims and welcome heartily. For this is Allah created and predestined humankind in the world, as said in Surah Al-Hujurat ayat 13, also mentioned at the beginning of the khutbah. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila ta'arafu inna akramakum 'inda Allahi atqakum. O mankind, indeed we've created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know each other. That is the only purpose. That is the only reason why there is division, there are differences amongst us. The difference is not a statement of superiority or nobility. The difference is purely for identification, so that we know each other. We know this person looks like this because he's from this part, he's from this tribe, he speaks this language because this is where he comes from. That is a segmentation, not a mark of superiority. So as Allah addressed us, O mankind, Allah here didn't refer to us, Ya ayyuhal mu'minun. He says, Ya ayyuhal nas. This is a generalized address. Allah is addressing the whole of humanity, and he goes to explain that nobility and superiority are not determined by our race, tribe, wealth, color of skin, privileges in life, country, or any other attributes or qualities other than righteousness in the sight of Allah, where Allah says, Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. In other words, Allah only knows, it's only Allah that knows who is righteous, because righteousness resides in the heart. You can't see somebody, you can't judge someone's righteousness by their action or by their looks. As Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wa la amwalikum walakin yanzuru fi qulubikum. And in another hadith, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was asked about righteousness or at-taqwa, he pointed at his heart and he said, at-taqwa hahuna. So that is where righteousness resides. So it's not the duty of anybody, any Muslim, to judge one another and think that I'm superior over my brother or this person is superior by any virtue. The only virtue or the only yardstick is by at-taqwa. And it's not in our capabilities to judge taqwa, because taqwa is judged by Allah, which is why Allah said, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Taqwa resides in the heart, and we as human beings, Allah hasn't given us the ability to tell what is concealed in one's heart. So it's very, very important to pay heed to this and be very, very careful in judging one another and in feeling superior over one another purely by virtue of our deeds or by virtue of our wealth or where we come from Allah has warned us against this. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم الجليل لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud once went to an assembly of people who were gathered making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before the supplication started, he announced that if there's anybody in the congregation who had severed ties with his relatives, the person should walk out before the supplication started, because Rasul had said that Allah would not accept the supplication of the entire congregation if there was even just one person in the congregation with a severed ties with his relatives. So this again goes to underpin the importance of that. We're familiar with so many examples in which Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam acted the way he conducted himself with his neighbors who were not even Muslims. We knew about the parable or the example where one of his old neighbors used to put thrush on his path when he walked home from the masjid. She used to she was in the habit of throwing obstacles in his way. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day on his way back, he realized the path was completely clear, was completely clean. And he wondered what happened to this lady. So he went and inquired as to why she didn't go ahead. Why did she stop a habit that she was doing? And then he found out the woman was sick. So when she learned that Rasul had actually come to find out about her welfare, she was really, really surprised. And that actually that touched her heart and made her accept Islam. Again, there's another hadith where Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Be devout and you will be the most pious of people. Be content and you will be the most grateful of people. Love for the people what you love for yourself, and you will be a believer. Behave well with your neighbors and you will be a Muslim." So I conclude, brothers and sisters, by stressing the importance of strictly adhering to these principles of 3 concentric circles of relationship, because a weak and a porous circle of kinship and relationship would weaken the middle circle, which is the circle of the ummah, which would also weaken the outer circle by extension. Let's treat one another, let's treat other humans with dignity and respect, regardless of our perceived differences in our social class, race, wealth, religious affiliation, or any other attribute of our own human constructs. And know that the only yardstick for measuring superiority is the yardstick of taqwa, which is in possession of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma inna nas'aluka an taj'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawla wa yattabi'una ahsana. Before we conclude here, brothers and sisters, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask brothers and sisters to join me in saying a very short prayer, inshallah, for President Muhammad Morsi, that we all woke up to the very sad news of his passing away on Monday. Allahumma ighfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'afu anhu warfa' darajahu fil mahdiyyin وأكرم نزله واغفر له واغفر لنا يا رب العالمين وافسح له في قبره ونور له فيه ووسع مدخله واغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقه من الذنوب والخطايا كما تنقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس وادخله الجنة وأعذه من النار وأعذه من عذاب القبر اللهم لا تحرمنا بأجره ولا تذلنا بعده اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا واغفر اللهم لأمهاتنا ولآبائنا واغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام، ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. صلوا على خير خلق الله محمد بن عبد الله، فإن الله قد أمركم بذلك. قال أفضل من قائل: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. قال من عليه أفضل السلام والتسليم: من صلى علي مرة صلى الله عليه بعشرة. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ورضي الله عن الأربعة الخلفاء أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي، وعن بقية أصحاب نبيك والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين، وعنا معهم بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين ويا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، وأذل الشرك وحد المشركين، وانصر أعداء الدين، وانصر عبادك الموحدين، وبعوض الدين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم، واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم، ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة.